Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Radically Real. We actually just had like an epic conversation that we probably should have recorded, but that's okay. I am here today with Annika. Annika, tell everybody who you are and what you're up to.
Hello, my name's Annika. I live in Sydney, Australia, and I'm just speaking the truth on socials, and it's just blown up. Really, that's all. That's all there is to it.
That's all to it. I mean, like, oh, you're pretty young. How old are you?
I'm 28 years old.
Yeah, so you're pretty young. I mean, in my eyes, I'm gonna be 44 next month. Like, that's fucking scary.
You
Anyways, at
don't.
least I
You
have
don't look
I
it.
have good skin.
Yes.
Still
Yeah.
shiny, it's a little tight, it's not sagging.
We're
Anyways,
only as old as we feel.
but some people that are your age would be terrified to show up that way and speak what they feel or stand up for children when you don't have any.
Yes, and I think I have been doing that, and I don't have any children. And I have had a few people. Well, why do you care? Well, I will one day, and I don't want this shoved in their face.
Yeah, it's like, well, like, because I care about kids, why don't you
Yeah.
care?
Well, yeah, and we were all a kid once, so someone has to stand up for them.
I know, and it's actually so terrifying, and we had just talked about this, but, like, some of the things that are being pushed on children, I'm not saying that kids shouldn't know certain things. Like, for instance, I used to have my best friend Simon. He was gay. We used to call Uncle Mike Uncle Simon.
Hmm.
And then my daughter at the time, she might have been 5, and she asked who Simon was married to. And I said, Mike.
Yeah.
"Eh, He's married to. She's like, oh. And I was like, well, they just love each other, and that's okay. And I
Yeah.
think that, like, I can show her that. That
Yes.
doesn't need to be shown to her by anyone else.
No, you have the control in that area.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
as the
need to
parent.
send her to school and worry about, like, sexual orientation and gender ideology being taught at school.
Hmm.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Nope,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah. It's not it shouldn't be pushed on by the government. It should be a parent's interaction with their own child. And if there's parents that don't want to display that to their kids, all should be respected.
Well, I think so too, and I think that's the people that are will just say left and right. I don't really love to say left and right because
Yeah.
I believe this is good versus evil now. I don't believe
Yeah.
this is like a you know? Anyways, it's like the people on the left are like, "Oh, yeah, but then, like, so many p like, so many kids are scared to tell their parents," and I was like, "Yeah, but, like, I feel like way more people are more accepting of, like, those alternate lifestyles than they were like."
Definitely. In like my grandparents' prime, you'd be
Yeah,
stunned. You'd be stoned.
and
Now
I
it's
and I
like if you
it's
don't
way more
accept it, what's wrong with
accepting.
you? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and then these people are like, for instance, it's like, if your kid goes to school and wants to identify as John, but she's Sarah at home, the
Mm.
school doesn't have to tell you.
No. Yeah. The school. Well,
That's how it is here.
I have a lot of clients who work in schools, childcare, whatnot. Childcare is probably a bit different. A lot of my clients that I personally have had interactions with have said that if there's a little girl who's pre-primary school age and says I'm a boy, they just go okay, no worries, whatever, let's play with this
Yeah,
toy now. Like move on.
sure.
Whereas in primary school, high school, I have a girlfriend whose daughter is 14 now, but she said that there was a girl in school that would come in the boys' uniform one day and then would come in the girls' uniform the next day. Well, how is this child getting the boys' uniform that's $100 plus? Obviously, the parents are enabling that and the school's
Yeah,
allowing it.
yeah,
Whereas when I was in school, if I wanted to wear pants instead of my skirt, absolutely not. That's the uniform and that's what it is. Too bad, so sad.
yeah,
So now
yeah.
it's accepted, and who's pushing it? The
Well,
school or the
I know
parents?
here that if, like, in high school, not like not one that has a dress code or anything, I know that, like, if they go to school and they want to identify as something else, the school, like, keeps the secret.
Yeah, okay. So they don't push it onto everyone else. You must call this kid blah 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 blah.
Well, and then they don't tell the parents. That's what I'm saying. Is like the parents
Oh, they
don't
don't.
know.
Oh,
The parents don't know that it's
so
happening,
in
and then they
school they're a whole different persona, and then they go home and pretend that they didn't exist in the school the way that they were presenting.
and then the school doesn't have to tell the parents.
Mm, I think,
That's scary to me.
yeah, because look, at the end of the day, I do believe it comes down to mental health. And if they're hiding that from the parents, well, aren't they not doing their duty of care?
Well, and I think there's a little bit of nuance to it because, for instance, like, we tell our friends at school everything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We don't tell our mom and dad everything, you know what I
No.
mean?
No,
So
definitely when you're that age.
so it's like certain things, like, you just don't tell your parents, but I kind of feel
Mm,
like something like that, if the school knows this, like your guidance counselor or the school secretary or whatever, or just if people know this, I think the parents should be notified because it's like
absolutely.
there's
Yeah.
something going on with your kid.
Yeah.
But they don't have
Yeah.
to. It's a secret. It's a secret.
It just comes down to duty of care, really.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, if the kid wants to think that or, say that, whatever. But I think if the school exposes it to the parents, it can be discussed about. They can explore avenues of, you
They
know,
can support their child.
yeah. Because really, what support are they getting from the school? Nothing.
Who knows what they're getting from the school? I think the challenge with the type of content that you and I put out,
Mm,
is that people think that we hate like trans
yeah.
people and gay
Yeah.
people. Like some of my best
No.
friends are gay. I have
Yeah.
trans friends. Like,
Yeah.
no, the issue is stop pushing it on the kids.
Mm, yeah.
Let me deal with my kid. If my daughter wants to be called Paul, okay, I will deal with that. I
Yeah.
will make the decisions for her, not for her, like, well, for her because she's little, but
I think, yeah, definitely. I think if they're under the age of 18, too bad, so sad. What goes in my house goes in my house.
you can make those decisions when you're old enough to make those decisions. I'm not going to put you on hormone blockers at 12. Like,
No,
it's not happening.
no, absolutely not. Because as we spoke about before, they turn 15, 16, 17 and go, oh, actually, I
Change my
think I'm
mind.
not that anymore. Yeah. So why
Change
make
my
a
mind.
permanent change when,
It's like it's not that we're denying that transgenderism or whatever you want to call it exists because it does. It's a very real thing.
mm,
But
yeah, yeah,
let's not pretend like it's okay to cut body parts off of children.
yeah, yeah. I think, look, like, I will never make someone feel bad for who they are just because, but
Yeah.
definitely believe in logic and biology. And if someone wants to present in front of me as a man, but they were born a woman, okay, cool, you do you. But if you cannot accept the fact that you are biologically the other gender that you were born as, well,
Yeah.
we're not on the same page because you can't change that.
Nope. Like you're
And
not a woman.
yeah, it's the ones that say, "Oh, well, I am and I can give birth." Well, no, you can't. You fact. That's a fact. You cannot.
You
So
can't.
why are we denying? Why are we
And
denying the
it's like, do
fact?
you want to get a period? Because it's fucking sucks.
Yeah, literally. Cool. I'll swap any day. I will swap places. Let's do it. But it's more so the delusion that I can't deal with. That's where I don't have any respect because I could sit here and say I'm a black African man.
You look like you are.
Yeah, well, thanks. And then it's people
It's the
that
white skin and the red hair for sure.
people will, there'll be some people will go, oh, well, you can identify as that. Well, clearly I cannot because, hello, let's be
I
so
know.
real. So
I,
it's the
I,
delusional side of it that I have absolutely no respect for.
well, and then I think like even the gay people are saying this that like they feel like it's trendy.
Well, yeah, funny you say that. I have a few clients who are gay and they are like, I have no idea what's going on. They're like,
Same
I
with
don't want
my
to
gay
be
friends. They're
associated
like,
with
I
that.
don't get it. I just think it's crazy.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. They're like, I don't want to be associated with that community because that's not their beliefs and how they feel. And they say, I just love a girl or I just love a guy. That's it. That's where it ends.
and that's the thing is that like that is okay. You can love a
Mm,
guy. And
yeah.
I'm not sheltering my children from people that are gay. Like, of course, it's people are gay. We had some neighbors down the street like that were a lesbian couple and then a gay couple, Simon and Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
We love
Yeah,
our
I see no
neighbors.
wrong with
Like they're
that.
great people. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with them. And
No.
it's
And
just like people think that because we disagree with that other stuff that means you're against the LGBTQ
yeah.
community.
No.
And it's like, well,
No.
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 That's
I'm
bullshit.
love who you love. It's the delusional side that really needs to stop because
Well, and
the
that we have to
more
conform to it.
well, yeah, so we're tiptoeing around how they feel because it will hurt them. But then if you bring up any type of facts or biological sense, it's how dare you? What's wrong with you? How can you not accept us? Well, you don't even know who you are. How can I accept you when you don't even know who you are?
Well, and the thing too is like they want all these words changed and stuff like that. Like a lot of the medical stuff here is like, oh, like chest feeding and people with uteruses and like all of these things. And I'm just like, well, only women have uteruses.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Trans men have uteruses because they were
'cause
a
they're
woman.
women. Exactly right. Like, see, that's the whole part of it that I don't know why the concept of that is so hard to grasp for, people in that community. Even the media, they just push and push and push. Even I saw a clip the other day that said trans women's breast milk is just as good as, biological women. But there's no what? That to me is like a puzzle that can't be solved. There's no such thing.
I just yeah, it's actually making me wanna, like, bleh, a little bit.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. But this is the type of stuff that, I guess parents, you either shelter your kid from it or you educate them. And depending on their age,
Depending on their age.
yeah,
Age
you can't.
dependent. Like, we don't have to teach little kids these things.
No, absolutely not. Let them play with trucks and cars and whatever and pick whatever color they want to wear. Why does it have to be turned into something else? Really, I used to climb trees and, wear camouflage stuff. My parents were like, she's a boy. She's a boy. She's a boy. She likes wearing camo. No. And God forbid they did do that. I think if I, you know, coming into adulthood and whatnot, I would be resentful towards them if they push that ideology onto me. Let people be who they are, let kids enjoy. Why does it have to be something more? There's
Yeah, and it's
no
like,
underlying message to a kid wanting to play with a different toy.
no, and I feel like if my daughter wants to dress like a boy and whatever the case is or whatever that is fine, but I'm still not gonna cut your body parts off. I'm not gonna put hormones in you. I'm not
No.
doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
of
you
course.
can do that, that's fine, but I'm not medically intervening.
Yeah, not at that age anyway. Definitely not.
No, not till they're a freaking adult. They can make that choice for themselves. Like,
Mm.
there's no freaking way in hell that I would ever allow that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's hard because after a certain age, obviously 18, you have no right to control them. They can make their own decision, but you
Well,
can
that's
do
the
your
thing.
best to educate and, guide them up until then, and hopefully,
Oh,
they,
it's like, what is her name? Mickey Lauren, I wanna say, the political mixter. Do you follow her?
No, I don't, I'll have to.
I'll send you her account. She's really great, and she has this, other company, and it's like Protect the Tomboys or something like that,
Mm,
and it's like she's gay, she's a
yep,
lesbian,
yep.
and, she fights for this kinda stuff too because it's like, just because, like, I was a tomboy, my mom didn't wanna cut my tits
Yeah,
off because I dressed like a
yeah,
boy, like
yeah. Oh, I would even say now, I I wear jumpers, I wear tights. Like, I definitely am
yeah.
not your girly girl that goes out
No,
and gets her
me
nails
neither.
done, like
Like, yeah, me
exactly right.
neither.
So,
Like,
am I a boy? No.
yeah, yeah.
There needs to be a line. I mean, the line's being crossed obviously now, but it's it's not hard to not look into it too hard.
Yeah,
Like, people
I
are
really
overthinking it.
hate that someone or people would think that because I or we feel this way that we're, like, bigots and stuff. Like, I don't like that. I think it's really
I get
sad.
so many messages saying stuff like that, and I'm like, clearly you're only seeing maybe one video that I've posted that might be a little bit of rage bait,
Yeah. Yeah, for
or
sure, for sure.
you're very uneducated.
Yeah, yeah.
Low IQ. That's because really, I'm not hating on a specific person or individual. I'm really trying to tread lightly and not attack just a group of people. But
Well,
I do
and
think
then
that a lot of
let's
people
look at
agree with,
they do. They
yeah,
do.
yeah.
And then when we look at, like, the mental health side of it and you look at people that are detransitioning,
Mm, yeah, they're worse
which is a
off.
lot which is a lot of people, and one of the things they say is that no one offered me therapy.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody offered me the kind of help that you would think that you would receive if you're saying, like, those types of things.
Of
It's
course,
like,
yeah.
if you have body dysmorphia, they send you to the hospital and they make
Yeah,
sure that you get taken care of so that you're
yeah.
eating food and that you realize that, like, you're not fat. But it's
Yeah.
like,
Is it not the same, like same bird, different wing? It's very similar, but
now
it,
that's
it
the thing is I always wanna bring it back to being gender dysmorphia is a real thing. It is
mm,
real. I do recognize that. I don't want to discredit people that truly are
yeah, yeah, of course.
because it's a thing.
Mm,
Um you'll still never fully be a woman and you will never fully be a man. But it is a thing and I respect that. But therapy first maybe before we get into
Yeah. Look, especially depending on the age they wanna speak about it, if
cutting
but
body parts off and cutting our a hole in our forearm to have a penis, like,
but don't you think that most people that, are over the age of 18, coming into their 20s, even up to 25, they would probably source to speak to someone prior to going ahead and doing that extreme
I would hope so.
surgery?
I would hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like anything, any type of look, I do believe it is a mental illness, not
Yes.
in a disrespectful way. I definitely think that there's help out there. I think that if they do wanna go forward with it, well, do that, but do that as an adult, not a child.
Yes. Yes. And there's a really great account, this is a trans woman, and,
Mm,
oh, what is her account? Davina or Devi I don't know, I'll send it to you. I think you'll
mm,
actually really love her, and I'll say her because that's what she wants,
mm.
um, but didn't transition till adulthood
Yeah, yeah,
and is totally against what's happening with the
yeah,
kids.
yeah, yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
that's
anyone in
that's a
their right
perfect
mind would be.
example. That's a
Yeah,
perfect example.
yeah,
It's like he lived as a he until he was an adult, and then he decided to live as a she, and now she's living as a she and much happier, but speaks out on
yeah,
this exact topic.
yeah, and can probably recognize that he is not a biological she.
Yes.
That's where I can't respect the delusion if,
Yes, you
they think
you
that
can't change
they are. Of
biology, and it's
course.
like you and I talked about this before we came on, that when they find our bones in 100 years, they're gonna say Annika was a 28-year-old woman, and they're gonna say Cece was a 29-year-old woman. Just kidding.
And not a they them, not a he she, it you me,
They're gonna
you
say
know?
woman because
Yeah.
biologically, men and women have different bones. They're just gonna know that,
Mhm.
I was around a 44-year-old woman, you were around 28, like that. They're gonna
Yeah.
know that.
Of course, and
Just
you
by
can't
our
change
bones,
that.
and
Yeah,
you can't
yeah.
change that. You can't change by I respect people's pronouns. I do. It's no problem. I will call you that, but at the end of the day, you're not a woman, and I will not be called a chest feeder. Like I
No.
said, a person with a uterus. What
Yeah,
other
no.
things do we get called now?
Just it's they're laughing in our faces, really.
Yeah, because everything's getting changed. There was at one point this talk about like Santa can't be a man. It's not fair. I was
Yeah,
like, "I'm
right.
sorry, what?"
Yeah, well, what is Santa supposed to be then, a woman? Why is that fair? Like, what? What other options are there?
Gender neutral. Not gender neutral.
That yeah, that's a whole other topic that I just do that doesn't exist. That there is delusion. That does not
That's it.
exist.
And I'm gonna tell my kid that. Well, Santa, we're just not really sure. Big white beard, talks
Yeah,
like a man. Ho ho ho. Not really
no.
sure.
Yeah, that's just laughable, really. Like, there's not even a need to discuss that because I personally not a thing. It's not a thing in my mind. If you're gender
And who
neutral,
believes in Santa? Kids.
exactly. Why does it always get brought back to
The
targeting
kids.
innocent
Children.
people that these kids have? They're so easily influenced.
I know. I know. I know.
They're
It's
vulnerable.
very, very sad and vulnerable. I know. And
Hmm.
like I said, I believe that gender dysmorphia is a thing. I do. I have body dysmorphia. Okay. Do my arms look fat to you?
Absolutely not.
You can see my bone, right?
Yeah.
So when I look in the mirror, I see this huge arms.
No. No.
But
But
I'm very self-aware of it. Like I can see it, right? Like I know that
mhm.
there's a disconnect that when I look in the arm, when I look in the mirror, what I'm seeing, like look at that.
No,
So
definitely
when
not an obese
I can see
person's
it here.
wrist.
But in the mirror, and I'm like I said, hyper self-aware of it,
Mm.
that's not what I see.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
So
a lot
I'm
of
very
women,
self-aware,
yeah,
are
can
like
relate.
that. Are
Mm.
like that. But it's the same thing.
But yeah, I tell you something. I did bodybuilding for, oh god, years. And I was very young, so I stopped doing it maybe 2021. I had a bad shoulder accident and I
Oh
was
God, it's terrible for
bef-
so young.
I know, I was yeah, it's I need surgery, but I'm a bit of a pussy, so I don't really want to get it done. But I used to do powerlifting, I used to lift heavy. I was very, very, very fixated to do these bodybuilding competitions basically. And obviously you need to have a strict regime, strict diet, strict training. I had a coach. I came out of that. I was probably about 50 kilos. Like I was very I was very little. I was definitely built with muscle. I did it
Yeah.
in a healthy way,
Yeah.
but coming out of it, I was so scared to gain even a kilo. I thought if I put a kilo on, I am a fat whale. Like I'm
Yeah.
obese.
Yeah.
And it was hard to train my brain into thinking, no, like you can't sustain this low weight.
Yeah.
You need to eat, you need to be healthy. I was what, 20, oh my God, I would have been 21, 22. Like I was quite young.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, my coach was great. Without his help, I probably would have definitely gone downhill, especially seeing the scale go up. But these type of things definitely do affect. Now I go to the gym still. I've definitely
Yep.
gained a bit of weight, but I still
Well,
feel
you look great,
very,
just so
oh,
you know.
thanks. I definitely still feel very self conscious because I'm like, oh, I used to be this
Yeah,
and
same.
now I'm
Oh,
not.
same. Yeah, same,
And I
same.
mean, obviously, with age, especially as women get older, have children, like your body changes, and that's
Oh
just
my
a
god,
fact.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's such a fact. And even when I was like really petite, like
Mm,
small, I still had the same issue, which is why I'm
yeah.
hyper aware of it. So I know when I look in the mirror that like these are not fat arms.
No, absolutely not.
They're
No,
like
but you're
bony
not
little
going
arms.
crazy. You're not going to cut them off.
No, I'm not like, I'm exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think that that is where the disconnect is, but then it's like, we have this conversation and then people are like, "You guys are bigots and
yeah.
you hate gay people and you and
Oh,
this and
honestly,
that and this." And
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
"Well, that's actually totally
not true.
fucking false."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I actually had someone message me, my own cousin, when maybe about a week ago, and they were like, "Hey, they because I don't know how to address them. You're a fascist, you're a bigot, you're xenophobic, you're anti-Semitic, you're homophobic, you're transphobic." All in one basket, and I thought either you're not educated enough to see what I'm trying to actually portray and put out there, or you see one thing and think she hates everyone. I don't hate anyone for who they are. I don't hate a specific group of people.
Me neither.
There's no one that I can say I hate them because they're whatever race, culture, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
hate you because you're trans. No, I don't
no,
hate trans people at all.
no, I could sit here and say I don't actually hate anyone. I don't hate any group of
Yeah,
people.
me
I hate the
neither.
delusion and the ideology of how it's being pushed. That's what I
Yeah,
hate.
yeah,
And my cousin just very to the left, and unfortunately I was like, "You know what? Well, I don't know why you follow me then. So I'm just gonna
yeah,
remove
don't
you
follow me.
because there's no
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
We're not gonna
yeah,
agree
exactly.
and you're just hurting yourself by watching my stuff. So I'll
Well, and
just
it's
politely
sad
remove you."
because, like, all my whole family's on the left.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all on the left. We just don't talk about that.
Yeah, see, I think as I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize that. My dad's not. My dad's very, very right-winged. He's
Yeah.
actually probably
My
too
my
extreme.
dad's my dad's on the left. My dad's a lefty. So was my mom when
Yeah,
she
wow.
was a lefty. She passed away, but yeah, like
Yeah,
lefty for the resty. Like
yeah.
they are left, left, left. My dad is orange man bad. Like he lives in
Mm.
Florida. I'm
But
in
I think
Canada.
that's just
He's
what
in
they were
Florida.
taught. They were
Yeah,
just
I
taught to shut
mean,
up and get on with it.
yeah. I mean, it's so interesting to me because me and my brother are both very conservative, and I do have some left values, for
Mm.
sure. But it's just kind of funny because like my parents were so like super leftist, and they raised like all these conservative children.
Yeah, yeah, make it make sense. But
Make
I
it make
think
sense.
obviously there's a lot of information out there these days on social media. I mean, anyone who's watching the actual media on the TV, you're not informed the right way. You're just picking it up and putting it in and yeah, well they said that no, 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 no. That's they want you to believe that. They want you
Yeah.
to go on with your life with the ideology and the narrative they're putting out there so that you're
Mhm.
a good
Mhm.
little 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, don't think for yourself,
Yes,
you don't use your own
because
brain.
like when you are programmed that way, you are completely disconnected from yourself and from your
Mm,
intuition, from
yeah.
source, God, whatever you want to call it. You are
Mhm.
completely disconnected from all of it when you are tapped into that shit.
Yeah, 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 and even with, um, social media, I've had a lot of people say like, "Oh, what made you speak out like this?" It was COVID. COVID is where I
Oh,
opened
I
my
was gonna
eyes.
ask. I was gonna say, like, did COVID make this
Yep.
happen for you? So this is same, man,
So,
same.
I didn't get any of the jabs, and I'll go into it a little bit deeper, but I basically thought, "I'm gonna ask questions." So, I'm anaphylactic to shellfish and nuts. So, that was the main
Oh,
reason why.
like all nuts?
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. No, my son is, anaphylactic to cashew and pistachio.
Oh, no. I mean,
Yeah.
look, he's not missing out. He won't know otherwise.
Yeah, I know.
There's
It's
nothing
still
wrong with
it's
him.
sad, especially when they
Yeah.
have, like, a reaction, it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I went to the doctors and said, "Well, look, I'm anaphylactic, blah, blah. What should I do?" And he said, "Oh, just hold off because we don't know what the reaction might be because you've got anaphylaxis." And I kind of thought, "Hmm, bit of a weird response, like, shouldn't you know what's going on and what you're
Yeah,
putting into people?"
yeah, yeah.
So I then had a friend whose parents were very much to her, "Don't get it. You'll, it's poison, it's this, it's that, blah, blah." And she was definitely projecting that influence onto me, which I'm grateful for because I don't think if I was around her as much as I was, I probably wouldn't have looked into it as much. Um, but I then started to see things online, and obviously, our phones listen to us. So all these Facebook groups were popping up, and people were saying, "Don't do it, don't do that." So I ended up not getting it.
Mhm.
I work for myself, so I didn't have anyone up my ass telling me you have to get it or
Yeah,
you're going to be fired. I
yeah.
was in a good position that if I did have to stop working, we didn't have a mortgage, we don't have kids. There was nothing crazy responsible that, our
Yeah,
livelihoods would fall
or be
apart.
affected. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I think that's where a lot of people got caught because a lot of people did have mortgages, kids, went to
Mhm.
uni for their careers that they then, spent thousands and thousands on a degree to what? Just say, "Oh, well, I quit." No, people are going to do anything to keep that. So I understand that people did get pushed into a corner and I don't believe everyone had a choice. I know that, everyone says, "Oh, yeah, everyone had a choice." Well, to a degree, yes. But
To
then
a degree.
if you have, a family to take care of, well, what are you going to do? Just quit and hope for the best? You're going to stop
You
that source
can't.
of income?
You can't. Like, impossible.
Yeah. So didn't end up getting it. I did work at a vet. I was a vet nurse for a long time.
Mhm.
And they said to me that, unless you get it, you can't work here in the meantime. So I was like, all right, no worries, whatever. I was there only like 2 days a week, which
You're like,
unfortunate,
"Okay,
but it was
bye."
fine.
Yeah.
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 So when everything ended up actually coming back around, I did go back and work there. But in between all of it, I was, oh my God, treated like a germ. My parents said to me that if I get coronavirus, I'm going to die and I'm going to clog up the system because I'm not making the right choice. My parents said I'm not allowed around my grandparents.
Even your dad?
You know what? It's so funny. My dad had this like he had a blindfold on during that stage, which is insane
Okay.
because he's very
Okay.
to the right. So when he started saying, "You need to get it," I was like, "Yeah." So he got all of it, and so did my mum. Idiots. But yeah, my whole family is pushing it on me. Push, push, push. I had friends that were nurses that were pushing it. I had everyone was not in the same corner as I was. Everyone I was surrounded by was like, "You're going to get very sick and you're going to die." And you know what? I got COVID probably 4 times. 24 hours, a bit, lethargic. Sweet. I was impacted less than those who actually received the vaccine.
100%, and you hear that story a lot. So I did get it,
Mm.
and and reason being is that you couldn't travel without it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So where I was living before, in the province I was in before in Ontario, I had no family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no family, and in order to see my family, we had to drive through the US. I guess we didn't have to, but, like, that's what we do. We drive through the US
Mm.
to get there, and, you had to have a vaccine passport. And I was
Yeah.
like, "I'm not going another fucking year without seeing my family," because I
Yeah.
would come out where I live now. I moved to where my family is now, but I got it to be able to come here.
Mm.
And, never I wouldn't give it to my kids. No fucking way.
No.
Like, people
No
were
way.
like, "Oh, I'm gonna take my kid to get the COVID shot." I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I only
No.
got it because I wanted to see my fricking family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the only way, so I was willing to take that risk because I was freaking going insane not seeing any family.
Yeah, of course, and that's another
Like,
reason why people got shoved into a corner as well. You
they
get
did, they did.
you get punished
Yeah,
if you don't get it, and then you get left out if you don't get it.
exactly. So I had 2 shots, and my husband got a 3rd one because his mom got on him about the 3rd one, and I was like,
No.
I'm not doing that."
Nah,
I
no,
was like, "No way, I'm not doing that." I was like, "You
no.
can." I was like, "But nope." And, no, we never give it to our kids. We also never masked our kids, like, we wouldn't mask
Yeah.
them. So I know
We're young, like, what's the
I
need?
know, and then people would, like, look at us like we had 8 heads, and then I remember, a few days after my son was born, maybe, like, a week after he was born, I wanted to go get some more onesies for him.
Mm,
So we went to the mall, and Molly and Axel weren't wearing masks because Axel was fucking 7 days old, and, Molly was, 3 at the time, and the looks. I cannot believe she brought a baby to the mall, oh my god, and I'm like,
ugh,
"You guys are crazy."
yeah, yeah. And it's the narrative of the media was just pushed so hard. The fear mongering was just next level.
It was so bad. So at the time, I owned a local business, so I, didn't feel like dealing with the backlash of all of the shit, so I
Mhm.
complied with everything, but, like, to the very bare minimum.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
people you were supposed to put partitions in between the stations, like the salon chairs. So I was like, well, they're 6 feet apart, so I'm not doing that because you had to stay as long as you were 6 feet apart, it was fine. So,
yeah. Make it make
no
sense.
partitions. And then they wanted me to like buy all this special tape to put on the floor, all these special signs for the flooring. And I was like, I'll use painter's tape. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna buy a bunch of
yeah.
stupid shit. Then they wanted me to have like a a plexiglass at the front desk. I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that." It's like,
Yeah,
"No,
like, it's
I'm not doing it."
this big, this narrow, but, like, oh, it's gonna
"Here's
stop
my
it.
cat. Here's my
Yeah.
cash."
Yeah, don't touch it though. Like, yeah, the whole thing when you look back is quite ridiculous, but I
It it
definitely had
it
my eyes open
was.
during that, and
Yeah. I think a lot of people did.
yeah, and even now, moving forward, I have a group of people around me that think the exact same. I actually met one of my girlfriends now who was, terminated from New South Wales Health for not getting it. She has 3 children, she's in her 40s. Definitely glad she didn't get it, but I now speak to my parents about it, who are very on the left side of things,
Yeah.
would you
Yep.
say, around then?
Yep.
And it took so long for them to actually say, "You know what? I think you're right."
Mm.
And I was like, "Wow, why couldn't you just, even just listen and respect what I was saying back then?" It was like I was loop batshit crazy. I was the crazy family member that, conspiracy theory, blah, blah, blah. But
Of
moving
course.
forward, my dad has actually been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Sorry.
So I've spoken to him about it, and he thinks that, I mean, it could have happened regardless, but he has a bit of a feeling that it is connected to the jab, especially after
Ooh.
so many people have actually come out and said they were diagnosed with this, that, the next thing, and were healthy, living their lives prior. A lot of people have just dropped dead. Um, Myocarditis, all these, crazy illnesses that have just exploded. It's like there's a the word. It's like the booster's been put on the illness. So the disease or
Yeah.
whatever it is has been
Yeah.
just, yeah, just it's in front of everyone's face, I think. And I mean, I'm no doctor. I got no idea, but it's a pattern.
Yeah, yeah, but and then, like, yeah, people think we're crazy for saying it, but it is true. I even remember
Yeah.
the health board ended up calling me, like, our rep we have a rep, and she called me and she's like, "Yeah, someone, like, sent us a picture of your staff and, like, one of the girls wasn't wearing a mask," and I said, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "Well, when's the mandate start?" Because the mask mandate
Mm,
hadn't started yet.
yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I think it starts, like, next Wednesday," or whatever the day was, and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, we'll start wearing them then." Not gonna nope, it's not I'm not doing anything until I have to do it, and when I do it, it's gonna be the bare fucking minimum,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I still like I said, I did the things because I owned the local business, and then I made a big post on our Instagram when, like, things started to, like, lift, and it
Mm,
was very like, "If you wanna come here and wear a mask, I will respect that, but you will
mm,
also respect that your stylist may not want to wear one, and that is okay.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you wanna wear one, cool. If your stylist wants to wear one and you don't wanna wear one, cool. No
Mm,
one's gonna make anybody do anything that they don't wanna do,
yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I
period."
completely agree. Like, why
Right?
should why should you have to adapt to that when you have a voice? Use your voice, say no.
Well, yeah, and it's like you said earlier, it's like the fear-mongering. That's what it
Mm,
was. It was
mm.
people had, like, the shit scared out of them. It was fucking scary.
Completely. Even my granddad, who's what, he's well in his 80s now, but he had to hand his license in. So he was actually giving it up. It was that time.
Yeah.
And in our area, they said that you couldn't go more than 5 kilometers away from home. So where the local, where the
Could you
closest,
imagine? Like, oh
yeah,
my god.
yeah, literally, we were confined to our like suburb. You couldn't, and they were checking, um, but my granddad, so he had to physically go in and sign documents to, give his license up. And he got a letter in the mail to say, you have this amount of time to do so. Otherwise, there's a fine. Of course, there's a fine for everything here. So he was freaking out because it was more than 5 kilometers to go and hand this in. And he thought that he's going to get arrested. He thought he's going to get, in trouble. He's going to get a fine for not doing it, but then also a fine for going further than 5 kilometers from home. And it's all because of this fear mongering on the
Which
media
could
that,
which is illegal, like, they can't even tell you that, like, that's a totally
yeah,
illegal.
yeah. So, I mean, look, I didn't abide by any of it. I still worked. I have a beauty business as well. So I've got clients coming in and out. I didn't give a shit. The police were at my house every week during COVID. And they even they said, "Oh, we have reports that, you're operating your business. You've got clients coming in." And I was like, "No, I don't. You wanna come in and have a look?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we can't because of COVID." I was like, "So I could be having a party at the back with 10 million people in there and you still can't come in because of COVID?" And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "Right." I'm like, "Right, okay." Obviously, these officers, they don't wanna be doing that. They were just told to go and tick this off and, whatever. We ended up the same ones ended up coming back, constantly, and we just ended up laughing about it. But one of the things they said was after they were leaving my house, they were going to the next suburb because someone reported a man mowing his grass without a mask on. They just laughed. They laughed. And I thought, yeah, I mean, it is just a laughable instant here because
I am
what the fuck?
speechless. That never
Yep.
happens.
Yep. Wild. So I,
I was doing hair at my house when during the lockdowns because my salon was closed, so we ended up being closed for 7 months total out of all of the lockdowns, and
yeah,
I was a multiple six-figure business. Do you know how much that hurt my business and my income?
absolutely. Yep.
It was
Yep.
insane. And then so the government of Canada gave people, money,
Mm,
$2,000 a month, which, like, at the time, I had a Range Rover,
that's
like
nuts.
2 grand a month,
That will get you your
and
groceries.
yeah, if that, and, they made me pay it all back. I had to pay every last dime of it back.
But yeah, here's
So,
an incentive for, doing the right thing, but you're gonna
you have
be
to pay it all
penalized
back.
in the end.
Well, what ended up happening, and this was what's like, such bullshit about the whole situation is, like, circling back really quick is that a bunch of people also took the money and they didn't have to pay it back, but they were like, they didn't fucking even need the money.
Mm,
What ended up happening was is I also got a grant that was called the Ontario Small Business Support Grant, and it was a $40,000 grant for your business.
yeah.
40 grand is about what I spent keeping my space open with no sales coming in. So I got the grant and it basically replenished my bank account. I didn't put in like a new fucking kitchen in my house. Like it went into my business account. So
Yeah.
on paper, it looked like I made $103,000 that year,
Mm,
but it's because I got that grant. So because I was a sole proprietor, the grant went in as taxable income. So what happened was,
mm,
again, on paper, it looked like I made 103,000. So because I made over X amount of dollars on paper, I had to pay back all that fucking CERB. But really, the grant was not for me. It was for my business, but it looked like it went directly to me because I'm a sole prop.
a personal
So,
income.
so when I called the
Yeah.
government and I was like, this replenish the money that I spent keeping the salon open while we were
Mm,
forced to close.
yeah.
She's like, "Well, you're not incorporated. You can't you have to claim it because incorporations don't have to
Mm,
claim grants."
yeah,
I
yeah.
had to claim it as income and that's why. Then I had to pay it
Wow.
all frickin' back. And it was like $14,000 on top of what I already owed. So I owed that year $22,000 in taxes,
Yeah, yeah.
and then on top of it, paying back the
The grant.
CERB, which was 14 grand. So
Wow.
that year my tax bill was 36 grand.
Yeah, it's definitely a kick in the face. Like,
It
you're
was.
trying to help me, but then in the end, it's not helping anyone. And it's
Well,
your
and the
own tax paying money anyway.
the problem is that I didn't have $36,000 because
Mm,
I spent all of my money keeping my salon open while it was freaking closed for 7
exactly.
months. Then I
Yeah,
had to
exactly
refinance
right.
my house to pay the government.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I and, just regular people are just being absolutely rorted left, right, and center. And it's the ones like you and I that own a small business that cop it the worst.
Well, and the problem that I have with that whole system is that, like, as a sole proprietor, are you a sole prop or are you incorporated? I don't know how it works in
Um,
Australia. Is it different?
yeah, it's called proprietary limited. Oh, sorry. Sole trader is like the individual, and then proprietary limited, yeah, like a company. So my skincare is a company, and then my personal beauty business is just personal.
Yeah.
So
So we, as small business owners that are sole proprietors, pay so much taxes more
yeah,
than in corporations,
yeah, yeah,
and I would just get fucked every year.
hmm
Like,
yeah, yeah.
ugh.
Literally, I only did mine a couple of weeks ago, and there's another thing here called GST. It's like
Yeah,
ten
we have
percent.
that.
Yeah, okay, so that
Oh,
as
it's
well.
13% in Ontario. Percent.
Do you have to earn a certain amount to then register for that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thirty
yeah. Even
thirty
that,
thousand. Yeah.
like, you're getting taxed on getting taxed.
Tax on tax. So you pay tax at the grocery store, and then you pay tax at the gas station, and then you
Mm,
pay tax, for fucking everything. The clothes
yeah,
that you wear, the food
yeah,
that you buy, the things that you do, you go out, everything tax, 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 tax,
yeah,
tax.
yeah,
And and then you got to pay that to the government. You got to pay your GST in Ontario is called HST. Then you got to pay all your HST that you collect to the
yeah,
government. It's
yeah.
like, oh, well, I'm not a government employee.
No, exactly right. Well,
Why
can I
am
be invited to their
I
Christmas
collecting
party?
this for you? Like,
Yeah, invite me to the
why
next
am I
shindig that you
collecting
guys
this?
have. Yeah, exactly right. Even yeah, here's a bit of a oh, the current government are just I didn't vote for them, so I can talk shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I did not ask for this to be the way it is. But I'm sure you probably have seen the Bondi attack and whatnot that has happened and what's going on.
That was really bad.
Yeah, very sad. So I live 35, 40 minutes away from Bondi.
Yeah, not far. Yeah.
Uh, the government are just, they're trying to put harder gun laws, which Australia already has very hefty gun laws.
So
And
do we here in Canada. It's the
y-
same.
yeah, and look, I'm not against it. I definitely think it works. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know what more you can put on the people who are law-abiding citizens and do the right thing, because they're the ones that are now being penalised. And then they're trying to pretty much get across the line that free speech will be banned. They're trying
Oh, they're
to,
trying to do that here. They've done it
yeah,
in London. Like
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and they're saying now that the problem is anti-Semitism. The problem with that is you aren't doing the correct checks on people who, in this case, hold legal firearms. That's what this is. These guys, these men. So one of them, I'm not too sure if it was the father or the son. They were
Hmm.
on the ASIO watch list, which is literally counterterrorism watch list in Australia. So they already had a red flag. Why did they
That's so
still
scary.
hold a legal firearm license? That should have been redacted as soon as they came up with red flags. But no, no, no. The government decides, nah. But even I know from a friend of mine who does have guns, um, they're meant to come and check, um, you know, the safe that they're in or what the restrictions that they have in place. They're meant to come and check the police, and they're meant to do it, I think, every 6 months here. I could
Hmm.
be wrong.
Hmm.
This person has had one check in 5 years, and this person also has moved recently, which I'm 95% sure that when you move and you register the new address,
You have to re-register your weapons.
yeah, to the new address, and then
Yeah.
the check is meant to be done within 6 weeks of that move. And the New South Wales Police have not done that. This person has been in that new property for over a year.
Yeah, so they're not enforcing their own rules.
Exactly right. They're not sick of being a law-abiding citizen in a place that isn't even following
When
their
the
own laws.
when the law doesn't even follow their own rules, which is
Exactly
so
right.
sad.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
scary.
yeah.
How is it there for, like, self-defense? Like, if someone comes into your house to murder you, can you kill them? Yeah,
No,
see, you can't do that here either. No.
even I have.
You'd go to jail here if you
Yeah,
did,
you can. I'm pretty sure you can use self-defense and not kill them. You can try other ways.
but you can't use a gun.
Well, even in that case, it would be way too long between noticing there's someone broken in to when you can actually to get them out of the requirements that's needed, the safe, the keys, all these, restrictions on obviously where they're housed. Um, it would take you way too long to actually access it to then defend yourself.
Yeah,
And you can't just
because
have
they
it at
would
your
have
bedside table.
because they would have killed you already.
Exactly right. But
Yeah.
even there's laws here that if someone breaks into your property and your dog attacks them, your dog gets put down. But I mean, no one's going to go, "Hey, I broke into this house and their dog attacked me. Let's put their
Imagine
dog
my
down."
hairless cat attacking an attacker.
Yeah, yeah. So I have 2 big Great Danes, and look, the area I live in is very safe. It's very established. It's an
Yeah.
older
Yeah.
town. It is
But it
mainly.
doesn't mean that it can't happen.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would hate to think that, my dogs are just doing what I would want them to do, and they are getting
Yes.
punished for it.
That's actually terrifying. That makes me
Yeah,
so sad.
yeah, yeah.
I have a problem with if somebody comes into my house to, like, rape me, dismember me, and then cut me up into little pieces
Mm,
and eat me for dinner the next day,
yep,
I f I feel like I should be able to shoot them.
yeah, definitely. Especially, well, someone breaking in, their intentions aren't pure. Their intentions are to either steal, hurt, damage. So why can't you defend yourself against those
Oh,
acts?
you can't do that here. You can't do that here.
Mm,
We don't own any guns, but the fact of the matter is if I did, I still wouldn't be able to use it to protect my
yeah,
family.
exactly right. Even I don't know if it's the same over there. Like you can't just carry guns around here. You can't just have them out in the
No.
open.
No, you can't open
Yeah.
carry.
Which
No.
I look, I'm not against that. I don't think that you should be able to because who's to say it ends up in the wrong hands?
Well, the thing is like when you look at the Bondi situation, it's
Mm,
like if more people were open carrying, maybe that situation could have got
yeah,
taken care of a lot faster. And
yeah,
and it's a double-edged sword kind of situation because it's like, yeah, it is sounds crazy to have people just carrying guns around,
mm,
but at the same time, it's like maybe if
yeah. I
they
think
had a gun, more people had guns, those guys would have got shot like a lot
yeah.
sooner.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think maybe an exception for like military people in the army if they open carry because they're obviously
Mhm.
trained in the specifics, but
Yeah.
just, your everyday person because you don't even have to go through certain training either. So like you can obtain obviously a legal firearm and you do have to
Yeah.
be part of a gun club, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you have to go and be trained properly. Like
Yeah, so and same, I think here, like, you have to fill out applications and do all those things. I don't know the exact steps because I don't own a gun, but
yeah, yeah,
I know that, like, if you want to have a handgun, like, someone has to write a letter for you, and, like, there's all this,
yeah,
crazy stuff, but
yeah,
I also feel like I mean, I think people should be allowed to carry guns for the simple fact that, like, look at the Bondi
mm,
situation, like,
yeah, yeah.
imagine more of those citizens had guns.
Oh, it's almost hard to believe that that happened 40 k's away from me.
Just terrifying, absolutely terrifying. I couldn't believe it when I was seeing it on the news. I was
Yeah.
disgusted.
One of my girlfriends was sending me videos. Her partner actually lives in Bondi and was taking videos, and I saw it before it even like hit the news. I was like, "What is going on?" But I was sitting in front of the TV the whole night just watching the news updates, which they're not giving the right information anyway. But
Well, you saw it before it even hit the news.
yeah, yeah. But I just thought, the lack of the lack of police presence very soon as well. And I know they're not going
Mhm.
to just, shove themselves in the fire line. They're not going to. They have to be smart about it. But the police station in Bondi is literally like across the road from where it was happening.
So where the hell were they?
And I mean, I obviously respect the job they did. They did a great job. They did whatever they could. But
But, like,
it,
on our end, they were showing us, like, citizens, like, taking these guys down.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Even apparently there was someone who was cop was trying to shoot and some citizen was like, "I'll do it. If you're not gonna do it, I'll do it." Like they're not I don't think they're trained enough in this type of stuff because, well, I mean, you'd like to think it doesn't happen, but it does.
Oh, it
And,
does. It does.
like if there was more people, like you said, that did carry guns, it probably could have prevented 15, 16 lives being lost. Um
And kids, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The youngest was 10, I think her name was Matilda, which is so sad. So I think the whole thing has definitely opened a lot of people's eyes to the current government, their
Mhm.
response to it as well. And they can come out and do everything to please the people, but they're not. They're not even trying to win over the people. It's like they're trying to literally divide everyone, and you're not
Yeah.
allowed to speak about it.
Well, and that's the thing is that I feel that the media is doing that. Like everyone's like, "Oh, it's left versus right. It's left versus right." It's like, "No, that's intentional." Okay?
Yeah,
Because when we're
yeah,
divided and we're fighting, they can pass policies and do things when no one's looking.
yeah, yeah. Exactly right.
It's like it creates this divide and I believe this is good versus evil now. This is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
anything else than that. This is
mm,
good versus evil and the divide is it's intentional. It's
Well,
intentional.
I think a lot of it really boils down to morals and values as well. And,
Mhm.
respect. If
Yeah.
you don't respect, I guess, your own morals and values, how can anyone else respect that
Yeah.
of you? Because
Yeah.
if we go back to, say, indoctrinating children, where's the
Mhm.
respect for that group of people from the ones
Yeah.
trying to push it? There's no
Yeah.
respect.
No. No.
And I mean, I know people grow up differently, everyone has different, values, beliefs, whatnot. But really, it's not hard to be a good person. Really
Nope.
not.
No.
And,
It's like
you
we
know,
talked about this before we came on. It's like, I
yeah,
love helping people,
yeah,
like, yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Like,
yeah.
I definitely don't hate anyone, but it's hard to, like, I don't agree with everyone, but it's hard to really sit back and go, oh my God, how do people actually believe what is being put out there? I genuinely find it hard to believe that people believe the media.
And they do.
I guess that's when we go back to the older people as well. They're just told to sit down, shut up, and just deal with it. Don't
And
question
I
it.
think that there's just so many people that are just still, like, won't open their eyes to it, completely asleep, and just gonna, like, live their lives and just
Mm,
pretend
yeah,
that this isn't
yeah.
happening, and they're just or maybe they just don't see it. They just don't see it.
I also believe that ignorance is definitely bliss in certain circumstances.
For sure, for sure.
There's definitely part of me that
Yeah.
thinks, oh, if I
Like,
could
candy
just,
doesn't make me fat. Candy does not make me fat.
yeah, definitely, I can have as much as I want. But I do think sometimes I'm a bit envious of those people who do have their eyes closed and maybe don't get involved in it, just kind of live their
Yeah,
life, don't have anything
yeah.
to say. Because I'm like, oh, they must be really happy. But then isn't it better to be aware?
Yeah, and I almost think that, I don't wanna say that they don't care, but I guess, to a degree, they don't
Yeah.
care because it doesn't
But
affect them, and I can see that, like, I can respect that
yeah.
if you don't like, if you truly just don't care and you don't feel that it affects you, like, there are certain things that, like, probably don't really affect me, but it's
Mm.
enough to where I'm like, "It's still not okay."
Well, I think if you're a tax-paying citizen of whatever country, you should be informed about where all of that is going and
Yeah,
why. You should
yeah,
have some sort of, especially, I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but you legally have to vote here if you're over the age of 18.
like, you have to vote?
You have to, otherwise you get a fine. Yeah, yeah. So if we're letting 18-year-olds, well, you legally have to vote. I feel like you legally have to be informed about what the fuck is actually going on.
That's actually insane.
Yeah, yeah, you get a fine.
So, does everybody vote, or do people get fined?
I'd say people do get fined, but I also know that people vote and don't know what's going on, and they go in and just scribble on the page because you just get your name marked off as soon as you walk in. So your name's marked off. They obviously don't know whose paper's whose, but it will all just be donkey votes for, when I was 18, I didn't care. All I cared about was going out on the weekend. I didn't care who I was putting down on the piece of paper.
No, no, of
But
course not, yeah.
these, people who are 18 and above, I'm assuming they obviously have jobs and pay tax. So they should be informed correctly. There should be more information out there about what is actually going on. Because right now in the media,
That's
it's just blah, 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 blah. No one actually knows what the fuck is actually going on. And there should be, I guess, a requirement that people should learn somehow. I don't know how the heck the government would enforce it, but you should know what is going on if you legally have to vote.
yeah, and, like and I agree with the whole you wanna know where your tax dollars are going, and that the US is a perfect example of that right now
Mm.
with those Somalian
Oh my
daycare
God,
things.
that is
I
insane.
I would I would be outraged, and I am also a US citizen, so, like, I
Mm.
have dual citizenship, so I have Canadian and American citizenship,
Yeah,
and, like, for
yeah.
me, like, that's an outrage, and I would be so pissed if I was those citizens, but what I don't understand here's the thing, do I agree with how ICE is going about some of these, the way that they're trying to get
Mm,
illegal immigrants off the streets? I don't agree with the way that some of it's happening. Do I agree they need to leave? I absolutely do.
yeah, yeah.
They need to go, but the people that are fighting this, like, stay away from these people. It's like, well, they are illegal immigrants, and as someone
Mm,
who had to bend over backwards to get my dual citizenship for
yeah, yeah.
myself years ago, and then for my children as well.
Mhm.
My littlest one just got hers in April. I have a little picture of her with the American flag.
Oh.
It's so cute. But for someone who had to fight to get them their rightful citizenship because we have it through my dad,
Mhm.
that pisses me off.
Definitely. You've gone through the right steps. Why should
Yeah,
someone not have
and
to?
Well, and they're just using up resources. Why are you supporting this? But again, on this, like again, that's a nuanced situation because I don't necessarily agree with how they're doing it. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like there could probably be more like a non-violent, aggressive way
yeah, yeah.
to
Bit of a
do this.
fear-mongering act as well.
Yeah, it's really scary. And then like that lady who just lost her life, like
Mm,
she shouldn't have done what she did. She shouldn't have been out there, period. She should have
yeah,
been
yeah,
not there at all whatsoever.
yes,
But, like,
definitely.
shot in the face, I'm like, "Oh, I just don't know if that was the right
Mm,
move." I'm
yeah,
not trained in that kind of
no,
stuff, so I don't
yeah,
really know what the protocol would be in that scenario, but for me, I looked at that and I was like, "Shot in the face, like, couldn't you, like, shoot
mm,
for the shoulder?" I don't know, I guess it's hard in that situation when
yeah.
someone's trying to run you over, but
Well, exactly right, and that's the thing. I've seen like, I don't know too much about, ICE and whatnot, in the States, but I've seen what I've seen on the media, and I've seen people say, "Oh, well, she was unarmed." She had a vehicle that
she had
weighed
a
a
vehicle, she had
significant
a vehicle.
amount, so she
Yes,
wasn't unarmed, but then
and she
again.
definitely I think her intent was to pull away and leave.
Mm,
I think her intent was to flee. I don't think her intent was to hurt. I do believe that. But, a shot in the face, I just something about that just doesn't
mm.
sit right with me, you know?
But I
Not that
guess
I
if
agree
you're
with what she was doing. I don't agree
no,
with what she was doing. She shouldn't have freaking been out there.
yeah, yeah, if you're trying to, what's the word? If you're trying to, get in between, like, legal activity, well,
He told you to stop and he told you to get out of the car.
yeah, 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 stuff like that happens here that you don't see on the news because they don't want the police to look bad. But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess definitely authority has an ego, and just because they're authority doesn't mean that they should be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't have this problem if you'd stop letting them in the first fucking place.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And I also have dual citizenship. So I moved to Australia when I was 15. I got dragged. No choice. My mum is Australian. My grandparents live here. So it wasn't a foreign place. I'd been here many, many times growing up.
Yeah.
But I have people on my socials now saying, "But you're an immigrant as well," because I'm against mass immigration. I think
Yeah.
that, depending on where they're
I'm
coming
not
from,
saying that we shouldn't have immigrants.
no, mass
We
immigration
should.
is,
A real thing. It's a
yeah, and
real
it's,
thing and it's like it's terrifying and what's happening in like the States and the Bondi thing is like a
yeah,
perfect freaking example.
yeah, exactly right.
That like that's the kind of shit that's happening.
Yeah,
And it's
but
like,
immigration without assimilation is invasion. If people, I'm not coming here trying to put an Irish pub on every corner of the street and telling everyone you must go out and drink every single night. I'm not
even
trying
though
to.
you probably should.
That would be fun. I'm not trying to, ruin anyone's life by saying that, but I'm not trying to enforce ways that, the Irish culture would be. Not that it would be,
Yeah.
it's not radical, it's not, extreme, but I come here, I went to school here. I was,
Mhm.
I said 15. I've really had no
Yep.
choice other than to try and fit in. I wanted to make friends. I wanted to not be seen as an outcast, an outsider. And as I've gotten older, I've obviously got a business, I've bought my own home, have a partner. I'm living my life. I'm not trying to change the ways here. It's when people come in here and
It's not like you
do
moved
try
there
and do
from
that.
like a third world country.
That's exactly right. So
Like,
I touched on the other day on my socials that you can legally marry your first cousin in Australia,
I
and
know, I saw that.
yeah,
I
you
saw
can
that.
do it in a lot of countries actually, and a lot of people were surprised. They're like, "What? I didn't know that." This act came in 1961, so it's not a new act. It's not a new act to, um, you know, go with people who are coming in from third world countries. It's not trying to fit to their culture. It's been and done. But in that regard,
Imagine, that's my
if
cousin husband.
well, yeah, and then their children are more likely to have genetic diseases, mutations, all these crazy, birth
Yeah,
defects, medical
yeah,
problems that then clog up the system that, people like me and you paying tax are paying more tax to a system that we don't agree with. And it's clogging up the school system. It's clogging up everything with the children that they have because
yeah,
of their lack of informity on what happens if you marry your first cousin.
yeah. Ugh. Like, I just can't. I just can't. I
What
just can't.
there is a lot of people in the world. Why have you got to go for your relative? Like, let's be so real. You could get someone from your culture if that is the
I mean, I've
case.
known them my whole life, so
Yeah, oh, they just, they just blended in. But it's just see that type of culture is not compatible
no,
with Western
no,
civilization. If you want to
no.
marry your cousin, which again, of course, it's legal here, but it's not something that your everyday Australian, American, and I'm going to say white people would tend to do.
Yeah,
And
I
if
mean,
you do that, your friends are going to be like, "What the actual fuck are you doing?"
you mean you would hope they would say that?
Yeah, they're not going to be like, "Oh, that's brilliant. Congratulations." Like, no, they're going to be like, "What the fuck is going on?" So,
I just you're right. Yeah, you're right. It's fucking disturbing. It's fucking disturbing. But
and
a
then,
lot of that is like normal in those types of cultures, like in
yeah,
other third world countries.
keep it in your third world. Keep it there. Enjoy it there.
Like,
It doesn't need to be, a thing. And I mean, obviously it is a thing here, but the system allows it. And the system allows taxpayers to just put up with it because they're now funding the medical problems that come with it.
which is wild to me.
I don't agree. It's all about consent. I don't consent to my tax paying money going to that.
Yeah, seriously. I guess we don't get consent when it comes to where our tax dollars go.
Exactly right.
Apparently.
Yeah, exactly right. So there's all these, there's all these ideologies and things in the system that people can be against. But if you don't say anything, it's not going to change. And
No, and that's just it. And like some stuff I will leave off the table, but there's a lot of things like when you're trying to erase womanhood, which is like what I had talked about in my last reel that I
mm,
posted, or you're trying to push some ideology on my kids, or trying that like we need to start drawing
crosses
the
the line,
line.
100%,
Crosses
100%.
cross the line, like
Yeah,
and like
completely
I
agree.
said, I'm happy to honor your pronouns, your respect your wishes, whatever that is, but you
Mm,
absolutely do not need to be teaching my children that. Period.
no, no, absolutely not. I personally think it's a form of pedophilia.
Yeah. A lot of people think that. Yeah.
It's wh- why children? And I mean, I guess I know why, because they're vulnerable, they're an easy target, they're innocent. You can kind of sculpt their minds in that way. But
Mhm.
if I started to say, oh well, all you kids should, something that's out there on the table of pedophilia, I'll be arrested.
I know.
But then these people can write and publish books that go in local libraries telling kids that, oh, explore your gender, explore your pronouns. If you don't feel like a girl, you can be a boy. Like, I read this firsthand and I thought,
I believe you. I know. I know. I
I'm
don't have
yet
my kids in
to.
school, girl. I know.
But then that makes me think, when I do have children, how do I shield them from that? Because at a certain age, you're not going to educate them on that. You're not going to be able to drill into them, the values and
I
beliefs.
mean, you can homeschool.
Yeah.
And you can choose what values they learn at school and the
Mm,
things that they're learning and the right time to introduce them to certain topics
yeah.
and you know uh, when you have a child, um you will see what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm already passionate about it, so I can't even imagine how I feel if I did have my own child. I
Yeah,
would be.
it's a commitment to homeschool because you do sacrifice a lot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it is a lot because my husband, he works full time, and then I'm
Mm,
here with the kids during the week, and then on the weekends and evenings I do this,
yeah. Yeah.
and it's just a sacrifice. It's just
Mm,
and then but the thing is that like you get to decide when they get introduced to whatever
yeah, of
things
course.
that it is, and they will ask like questions. Like I said, we had gay friends, and Molly was
Yeah.
like 5 when she started
Yeah.
asking me about stuff like that, and I wasn't gonna be like, we're not gonna talk about that. Like she
No, of
asked, so I'm
course.
gonna tell her like,
Yeah.
"Oh, who is he married to?" I'm like, "Oh, he's married to Mike."
Yeah. Which see, and like we said, I see no wrong with that.
Yeah.
I know that some people obviously do, but for me, I'm like, I have gay friends. I see no wrong.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And I think the great thing about homeschooling is that you do truly get to introduce them to the topics that are like this when you feel
Mm,
um when you see fit, when you think it's time for them, when you
yeah.
think they're ready because all children move at different paces when it comes to
Mm,
learning.
yeah. Yeah.
And you You'll just know when it's time to introduce them to certain concepts.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, even, one of my girlfriends, her daughter being 13, she got a letter home to it basically was about how they're gonna start teaching sexual education, but it wasn't put through as sexual education, it was sexual orientation.
Yes,
So
that's we were having the same curriculum, sexual orientation and gender ideology. It was
yeah.
called SOGI. We were calling it SOGI. And yeah, I
Mm-mm,
was like, no. But
they're not.
one of the moments for me is like I said to you earlier is like when my client that's a teacher said, "No, we have to assume that these children are they them until they specify their pronouns in our school." And I was like,
Oh,
just don't there's no way in hell I'm
no,
sending my kid into that.
no.
That's so confusing. You're confusing them from day one.
Yeah, and, they've been told up until the day of school that, she, or he, and then you go in there and then they're they, them. They're gonna be like, "Well, my mum says I'm a he or a she, and now you're telling me this, so who's right and who's wrong?"
Well, and how confusing to make a kid be like, "My name's Sarah and I'm a girl." Like, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, why does it need to be specified?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we know.
yeah, definitely.
We know.
If more people speak out, I definitely can see a change. Um, if, people just accept, it's just gonna be accepted into society and more people are gonna be silently not okay with it.
Well,
But
that's exactly it with that, like, the shit that happened to me at the hospital. Like, no, I'm
yeah,
please do not speak to me that way.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
like, and but they don't respect that, and it's like that shouldn't even like it shouldn't even be a question.
Mm, yeah,
Shouldn't
yeah,
even be a question. I'm filling out my like my birthing sheet, like
mm.
all the stuff, and it asks what my gender is.
I just gave birth. I just gave birth,
You have
but
to
I'm
you
gonna
have to
be a man.
write your baby's gender on the stuff too. It's like,
Mm. Yeah, stuff like that doesn't sit well because it's giving the option. It's accepting the narrative and giving the option to those who, do believe in whatever that ideology is, and it makes you and I look crazy if we question it
oh yeah.
because it's
Except
on legal documentation now. So it's like, well, it must be okay.
for the people that are just listening to this on Spotify, you should see our faces. You should go to YouTube and watch it because it's it's all about the expression.
Yeah,
I
it's
I
it's
know
absolute madness. But I mean, look, I have had a lot of people message me and say, like, I love that you're speaking out. I love that you're saying this, blah blah. Like you're brave. I'm like, yes, okay. I wouldn't use brave as the word because everyone has a voice and they should use it. I think a lot of people are scared of backlash, which I am not. I am not at
for
all.
sure. Oh, and when
And
people started arguing with me like that lady today, I just blocked her and deleted her
yeah,
comments.
see you later.
Simple.
Goodbye. Yeah,
Simple. We disagree, and even at one point, I was like, "I don't know why you even care, because you find this amusing and you disagree with me."
yeah,
And then she
yeah,
started calling me a liar and all this stuff. I was like, "Okay, now you're
yeah,
gaslighting me, but
yeah, yeah. And that's
okay,
that's
delete."
that's. I feel like that's what they resort to is name calling and violence. There's
Yes.
no topic of discussion. There's no opportunity to speak. It's just violence. I had a girl in my local area. I said to her, I'd love to meet up with you and have a discussion about, what you disagree with me on. And she said, I'll knock you out in person.
Okay.
So I was like,
Okay.
okay, well, I don't condone violence, but I'll give you an opportunity to speak with me. I'm free on this day at this time. I'm free here. When would you like to speak? And then she told me to go away. I was
Because
like,
they don't wanna have an actual conversation or
no,
just
no.
agree to disagree, because I don't believe that everybody on the left is bad. I have, like, my whole family's on mostly
Yeah, of
my whole family,
course.
they're on the left. I have friends that are on the left, and we just disagree there.
Yeah, yeah. One of my best friends, her and I just don't speak about it. And I've said to her, our relationship means more to me than our political values and views because she
Yes,
provides she provides a good friendship.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
So
and I think that that is, like, more people need to adopt that. It's like, you don't have to like me because I believe this or that, or I don't
mm,
have to like you because you do those things. Like, we can just not agree on that one thing and still love each other. Just because I
yeah,
believe that doesn't
definitely.
mean I'm a bad person. In fact, I'm a great person.
Yeah, I believe I'm a good person. I try my best to help everyone. You know what? I definitely try my best to help animals more than people.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
But I do try to help people. I do try to, respect. I feel like I'll never make someone feel bad just for their beliefs or their values. But I've tried to understand some of it, and some of it I just cannot understand, but I will never let them or make them feel bad for what they believe, unless it's a delusion.
Yeah. Oh, well, and I think some people would argue that I don't think this, but I think some people would argue with you and say that when you put that type of content out, that is what you're doing, and I don't believe that. I don't
No.
believe that. But people believe because we say stuff, it means that we're attacking a certain type of person.
Well,
Do you
yeah,
know what I
I've
mean?
had people I've had a girl message me saying, "You love to attack minorities."
Well, that's because you
Okay.
speak out. That's what I'm saying is like people think that because you speak out on it.
Mm. And then I was like, "Well, if that's the case, then me being white, am I not a minority then?"
We are now.
Exactly.
I'm just
Am
kidding.
I
I'm just
not a
kidding.
minority?
Jokes, jokes. Like,
But I'm
yeah,
kind of like, I'm not attacking anyone individually. I'm not trying to, you know, tell people to hate a certain group of people, or, go and create like a violent act against someone who's of XYZ nationality or whatever. It's I don't I don't agree with, they thems. I don't agree with us paying tax towards certain minorities that we shouldn't be paying towards. I don't agree with people coming into countries illegally. I don't agree with mass immigration. And, if they were to stand up and say all that and then you question them, it's like, "Well, don't hurt my feelings."
for
But
sure.
when people on the right speak up, it's like you're an AZI. That's basically what I've been called quite
Yep,
frequently.
yep, yep.
I mean, obviously, like I've said multiple times, they're just very uneducated in what's actually going on in the world.
Yeah, or like unwilling to even just like maybe look at the other side just to kind of see. Um,
Yeah,
it's like I said about ICE. Like I don't really agree with how it's happening.
yeah,
I
yeah.
agree that it needs to happen.
Mm. But
It
not to the
does.
way it's being portrayed or being
No, I don't
being done.
being done. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that and there's that fine line, right? It's like I believe that they need to be deported.
Mhm.
I think illegal aliens they need to go from here,
Yeah,
from the states, from Australia, wherever they are. They need to go. If they
yeah,
didn't do it
yeah,
legally, they need to go. I just kind of feel like we could do without some of the violence, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But then
yeah.
you
Of
have those
course.
extremists that are like on one side, they're like, ah, they should have shot that lady in the face. And then you have the other
Yeah,
side that's
yeah.
like, that was horrible. And it's like I can kind of sit in the middle. I'm like, oh, she really shouldn't have been impeding them.
Yeah, yeah,
But he also probably shouldn't have brought her in the face.
yeah. Of
Like,
course, of
you
course.
can sort
Yeah,
of see both sides
yeah, yeah.
objectively,
Mm.
and I just agree to disagree,
Well, I mean,
and
violence
people
is
don't
never the
have that
answer.
ability. No, no,
No.
no, 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 no.
Violence against violence is not going to solve anything. It's not the way to go. But even talk about like people coming in illegally and whatnot. The statistics of last year, there was 20,000 skilled immigrants that came into Australia under the Labor government. 22% of them are employed.
Where's the rest?
Exact on welfare. Welfare here is called Centrelink. They're on welfare. So why are we paying for these skilled people who came in to provide a skill to sit at home and do nothing?
Yeah.
And
When there's, like, people that are on the streets that could use that money to, like, get back
yep,
up on their feet, and yeah,
yep,
I agree.
yep. Even from myself, if I was to go, I don't know, and need help financially, there's nothing that they would give me because I own a home. I mean, I've worked my ass off my whole life to have what I have, and you get punished for it.
But the other thing too is, like so for instance, like, here in Canada and I think immigrants should get jobs, so I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying, but it's so hard to get a job as a Canadian citizen because what happens is
Mm.
they hire immigrants because the government of Canada pays for, like, 50% of their wage or something crazy like that. Don't quote me on the numbers.
They get
So that these
benefits,
yeah, the companies
incentives
get
for
benefits
employing. Okay.
for hiring the immigrants, right? So you can't even really get a job here because all the immigrants get the job. And from a business standpoint, I understand why the business would want to do that because they're
Mm,
cutting their costs in half,
of
their
course.
wage costs in half because the government's covering like half of it. But then you have like Canadian citizens that they can't get a job. But then you go to stores like Walmart or whatever and like they barely speak English.
Well,
Like
yes, yes, and quality over quantity. I think,
apparently not.
yeah, of course, the logical point of it doesn't get taken into consideration. But even even, immigrants that do come in and they're laborers or whatnot, or start up their own job, business, because it's quite easy to just get a ABN, it's called Australian Business
Yeah.
Number, and
Yeah.
just go off and do your own thing. They'll undercut other laborers that, will provide a quality job. And, for old Susie that wants a deck built, she doesn't care. She just wants to pay the least amount of money. She's not going to look into the quality and, the materials used. She just wants to pay Mohammed $5 an hour, and they will get the jobs. And then that leaves people who are going to do the right thing high and dry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And I mean, it
Mhm.
happens in every country and every industry.
It
But
does.
I think that if the government are bringing in skilled workers on skilled visas, they should be policing that every single one of them has a
Is using
job.
their skills. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Using their skills. Yeah.
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 And I don't believe that they should be able to have an Australian business number and start their own business because they're on a visa. Why should they be able to? Why should they have access to that?
Yeah, they should have to have, like, a trade license or some sort of license to perform said job.
Yeah. And I think under a company to begin with,
Yeah,
an
well, you
Australian
could go through,
company
like, an
or,
apprenticeship sort of program where gain the skills and then you get the license through the
yeah.
country and,
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
all of those things or through the
Mm,
province or however that works. Hi, Coco, she's
yeah,
back.
definitely. I think a lot
Um,
of it is just, see, but then it's all for votes. So obviously, the current government bringing all these immigrants, they're going to say, "Oh, well, this government took care of me, so I'm going to vote them in next time around," and that's the majority will vote for them because if they're bringing in, 20,000+ immigrants a year, I think it's something like, I think it's a crazy number that's come in the last, like, that's only skilled immigrants, 20,000, not just the overall. It's like close to more than 500,000, I think, in the last 12 months.
yeah, and it's kinda crazy to, like, so they bring in these skilled immigrants because they're skilled, and then you said 22% of them have jobs, like, that
Yep,
is
yep,
it's terrifying.
yep, yep. Insane. So yeah, the rest of them, are they getting cash in hand and undercutting, you know,
Well, that's the thing is like, we're
laborers?
not saying it's not like we're saying not to bring them in. Bring them in. We need skilled laborers, we need skilled workers, but, like, they should be doing that skill.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. So, the Australian people who are here working their asses off are the ones that miss out. And then housing goes up and, everything to do with
Everything,
cost of living goes up
everything.
because there's too many people.
Yeah, yeah, and the taxes go up, everything goes up.
Even houses, like, we looked for our house, oh, we were buying for like 12 months. We were looking and we were only 26, 25, 26. Like, we were quite young and we definitely were already in the market to buy. And it was, you know, not being racist or anything. It was, Indian families or people that have been migrated here that have a whole bunch of family members that were
Mhm.
buying into the market because they had multiple sources of income to actually buy that home.
Yeah. So
And
you're getting outbid every time.
literally every time we were getting outbid, or there was foreign investors, or there was developers. Like, we were like, how the heck are we going to buy our first home in Sydney when we're up against people who have money, like, and more than us?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Because 'cause you've got, like, multifamily people trying to buy a house where, like,
yeah,
6 of them are going in and they're just buying it.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
a homeowner is gonna take someone that doesn't need a mortgage over somebody who's buying it outright or something like that.
Well, yeah, or or is already like like got everything down pat and is ready to go, and settlement is, a shorter time frame. All of that, and we felt really deflated after 12 months. I mean, you'd like to think, and I thought we're never gonna be able to get in the market as first time home buyers, especially in Sydney. It's just ridiculous. And the more obviously time we spent looking, the higher the prices went. So we were lucky to get what we have now. And even in doing that, it was like we're up against people who have just oodles and oodles of money. We're never going to do it. But I mean, we did in the end. It took us a while.
Well, I'm a
But
firm believer that, like, the right house finds you when it's meant to find you, and then you live in that
yeah,
house and you can't imagine any other house. So I'm a firm believer in that too, that the universe truly does, like, protect us from certain situations,
yeah,
if from, like, getting into a house that maybe wasn't for you, or I
yeah.
try and really see, like,
It's
the
meant for you will be for you. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
the
I agree.
situations that are meant to find you will find you, so those are all shitty situations, and they're very true, and they're
Yeah.
very valid, but it is I just try and see, like, that side of, like, "Okay, you know what? I didn't get this house, this, but I got this one, and
Mm,
this is the one that was kinda, like, meant for
yeah. Oh, definitely.
me
Now we
and
say that,
my
we're like, "Oh
partner."
my god, thank God we didn't actually get any of the previous ones,
Yeah,
and we got what
yeah.
we got." But it just was chaos, and, like, even now, the rental market is just insane. There's so many people applying for houses because the demand is higher than what's actually out there.
Yeah, and well, and the cost of rent, I can imagine it's absolutely insane.
Even mortgage is nuts. Like, there would be no point in renting our house out because it wouldn't even cover half of what the mortgage is. But even then, for, people who are on their own or have a family or single
Yep.
mother, anything like that,
Yeah.
like, the rent is ridiculous. And if they can pay that rent, I do believe that they should be able to be approved for a mortgage if they can,
Well,
but the bank won't let them.
unfortunately, the bank won't let them. They don't care about that. And I agree with you. I agree that renting should be there should definitely be a form of um some way of like the landlord proving to the bank that these
Mm,
people have been paying rent to me for 5
yeah.
plus years. They've never missed a payment. Like I agree with you. I think that that
Yeah.
should be a thing.
Well,
I know.
it's a credit. It's a credit history, really.
It essentially is, and it's very
Mm,
unfortunate that that they don't include it because it's a real valid thing. Like that
yeah, definitely.
is, yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
completely
with you.
agree.
I do too, and I think that's a policy that they should really take into consideration because a lot of people they don't understand how mortgages work. First of all, but
Mhm.
a lot of people like they can afford it,
Yeah,
but on paper they can't afford it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Or they don't
Even
have good enough credit or whatever the case is, and it's
mm,
like, "But I pay my rent on time every year and or every month, and I have been since I was whatever age, like 10
mm,
years." But they don't care. They don't
nah,
care.
it doesn't, yeah. And, I mean, if that was taken into consideration, there would be less demand in the rental market. People would actually be able to contribute to, being a landlord if they wanna rent their house out, or, just the inflation of homes would probably go down as well because there'd be more people buying.
Yeah. Well, what happens is like the mortgage rates go down and then the house prices go up. So it's
Yeah.
like you're not really saving any money. You're almost better off buying a house with a higher interest rate because at least
Mm,
the cost of the property is less. And then when the rates go down, the value of the property goes up. So then you have
mm.
equity.
Yeah,
That's a whole
yeah.
that's a
The whole 'nother kettle of
whole other
fish.
yeah, that's a
Yeah,
whole other
yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
But, we'll wrap this up now. This is the longest one I've ever recorded. It's been so amazing talking to you, and I'd love to have you on again.
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
love for you to tell everybody where they can find you, and I'm gonna link all of your social media, your business, your skincare, all of your things
Yep, yep,
below in all our videos.
yep,
This will be available on YouTube and anywhere that podcasts are available. So tell
yep.
everyone where they
Perfect.
can find you.
So my Instagram is Annika Uncensored. I do have a Facebook page as well, the exact same name. I own the Wet Skin Company, an Australian made skincare brand. It is pregnancy, breastfeeding, vegan, cruelty free. It's all natural, made here in Australia. I don't have a podcast, but maybe soon.
Maybe soon.
But definitely I'm most active on Instagram. That is where you can find me.
Awesome. I love that. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Radically Real, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for having me.
No, thanks for saying yes.